Hi, I'm Wellamotkin, ordained Nemenhah minister, way walking mentor.
And I am Cloudpiler, Tech-to-Ectim of the Nemenhah.
And we're here to talk about the Kehlehmeht, the sacred pipe of the Nemenhah.
Now, the way I was trying to make it clear that we're very transparent about this is the Nemenhah do not get their ancient pipe traditions or ceremonies from any tribe. It's not derivative. No, we don't derive our customs from anybody else. Our foundations are ancestral. Comes out of our sacred record, and that's a family history. The Nemenhah trace the sacred pipe tradition to two very important prophets who are writers in the sacred records. The first one was Tsi-tu-goha, and he's most notable for preserving the ways and the customs of the Ammonihah, the traditions, their ceremonies, and the things they did. They had to, if you recall, they had to take the temple ordinances and bring them home because the white Nephites wouldn't let the brown Ammonites. Well, they'd let them, but they were upset about how noisy they were, so they, made them feel bad. That's the insight they have.
Reader's Digest version.
Tsi-tu-goha, he recorded what they did at home. They brought the temple home, and they brought their ordinances and their ceremonies home. And I think that's really important. His influence remains in the actual Nemenhah language. The verb to know or experience something is tuku-eitz. And you'll note that tu-goha, tuku-eitz, it actually carries his name. The root, the verb root is tuku or to go.
And it's a highly constructive language.
Yeah,
so
and
elements of names and places feature heavily in the pronunciation of the language.
Yeah,
and the formation of words.
Right. And then also much later, carrying into the contemporary time, the term to smoke the pipe is tukiet, to smoke, or to eat smoke. So even up to the late 1800s, late 1800s, in the preserved portions of the language, you still have this honoring of Tsi-tu-goha in the pipe, the sacred pipe, in the verbs, the actions that are associated with the pipe.
And interestingly, we also continue to honor him for his contributions to our council system as well, which the sacred pipe features very prominently in the administration and the performance of ceremonies there.
Yeah, it's like the bundle opening. It's very often if you're a pipe carrier and you open the bundle in any ceremony, you're beginning the ceremony with a pipe ceremony. Essentially, it's the opening prayer of the proceeding.
Yeah, one of our Pehli mentioned not too long ago that bringing the sacred pipe into ceremony, especially into council, is very much like bringing the Itsipi ceremony with us into council. The other prophet associated with the medicine pipe, the sacred pipe, is Morhonaya, who in managing his own condition post-war, his own PTSD, found that he could bring the principles of the Tuchel Numen, the high place, the temple ordinances and principles, and refine them down in very similar fashion to what Tsi-tu-goha recorded of the Ammonihah. So the Ammonihah brought their temple ordinances down to an Itsipi, a lodge performed by the community or in the home. Morhonaya refined it even further for purposes of personal prayer and communion and walking upon the way, and he created a prayer bundle to do that. Featured especially in his bundle was a medicine pipe, was the sacred pipe. Yeah. And it had very distinct, very specific meanings for him in that ceremony. We, Nemenhah today, we employ the very same pattern as Morhonaya presented, adapted to various personal needs and expressions, but still following the same pattern. And the medicine pipe, the sacred pipe, features very prominently in our bundle ceremonies as well. It is a way for us today to bring the high principles and complex principles of the temple practice of the Nemenhah to hearth and home, everyday practice and activity.
So, looking over at my notes, the purpose of the
Notes are good.
they're good, and especially with my memory, purpose of the pipe in the Nemenhah is fundamentally just about everything that we talk about in the Nemenhah can be a healing principle. Part of the practice of the religion itself is healing, whether it's healing the individual or healing the family, healing the community, and all the way to healing the planet. So the pipe also, along this vein, the pipe is also fundamentally a healing instrument. The ancient Nemenhah used the medicine wheel as part of the temple way practice, and that's why I say to bring the temple or the itzipi. The itzipi is a place where the first of the temple principles and practices are taught to the families,
to the families,
the
local
right
community.
there in the local community. So it's kind of the same, but the pipe brings that right to a personal level. Brings it home, brings it to the field, brings it to your stewardship. If you're a pipe carrier, you're carrying those principles with you always. Now they understood the part of the medicine wheel was to find things out, to observe, to learn. It was the west point of the medicine wheel is the pillar of knowledge. And there's a covenant involved in keeping the pillar of knowledge. And so even in the case of the use of the pipe, the healing use of the pipe, they employed this point of the medicine wheel. They understood how, or they made sure that they understood how substances enter the bloodstream. It's either by ingestion, you can eat something, or absorption through the skin, or inhaling.
There's a common thread throughout Nemenhah ceremony, both traditional and our modern adaptations, and that is that which is a spiritual practice should be translated into also a practice of physical healing of some kind.
So we don't make a distinction between the physical and the spiritual.
So where the pipe brings our attention to, the sacred pipe brings our attention to sacred principles and thoughts and meditations, at the same time, we also emulate the ancients in studying the ways in which it administers medicine.
Yeah, and the pipe, you think about it, when you do observe how we get things into our bloodstream, the pipe is a really good delivery method, because principles or elements within the herb that we're smoking, and we don't just smoke one thing. Generally, we don't smoke tobacco. We smoke those herbs that are specific to the circulatory system or the lungs.
The respiratory
system. But when you take those, that smoke, you're taking an alkaline ash that carries significant amounts of active ingredients that go to your lungs. Well, how does oxygen get into our bloodstream?
Right.
It's from the lungs, and to a certain degree through the skin, but through inhalation, then either the pipe or the smudge bowl, our ancestors administered medicines. That was one of the fundamental uses. And, this is central to, absolutely central to Nemenhah
healing
religion.
is, the relief of suffering is absolutely pivotal. And that's what makes such a focus for Nemenhah religion.
That's what makes us ministers. It's the relief of suffering and the consecration of every good thing.
We love our symbols.
We are into metaphors and symbols, but pipes can be made in many different ways. They used antlers, they used stone, they used wood. They didn't last very long because they burn up. They crafted pottery, which is the way we do it. And usually, in the old days, probably. We do have some archaeological indication that the earliest pipes were just tubes, like a big hard cigar, and you put your smoke in the end and you smoked it. And there really is quite a lot in Central America and in North America of archaeological evidence that those were the first pipes. Later on, the Nemenhah began to put angles in the pipe, and that's in the bowl of the pipe. And that's really important because they used it to symbolize agency. The vote.
Right.
The vote is expressed.
The thumb vote.
The thumb vote is a right angle. And the pipe began to express that. And that's the ayatsue point. That's in the center of the medicine wheel. That is the noble agency part of, you can't get to way walking without understanding the noble. You can't understand the new and everlasting covenant at all.
Not at all. These are the faculties of discernment, your ability to make decisions, not necessarily the decisions themselves that you make, but just the capacity to make decisions for yourself and exercise your agency in any situation. The thumb vote in council is how we exercise that in Nemenhah councils and circles. And so to see that develop within the pipes, the tradition, the history of the pipes, seems very natural to us.
Yeah, the thumb raised to the square is a very important symbol to all Nemenhah. And when you raise the pipe, and it is demonstrating the symbol of the square, it's pretty important. Now, I can show this by actually.
Can you reach it?
Yep. We've got an example of a pipe that I've recently made. Jonathan helped me with the stem, but you see that the pipe itself is the symbol of ayatsue, the peacemaker, the thumb raised to the square. So the whole bowl of the pipe represents him and what he provides or what he brings to the temple ordinance and to the medicine wheel itself. The stem of the pipe also has meaning. We say that in healing especially, the bowl of the pipe represents our head. The right side of the pipe, hold it up, the right side of the pipe represents the right side of our body. The left side of the pipe represents the left side of our body. And so even just holding the pipe is a representation of physical and spiritual healing.
In a lot of ways, the pipe also serves as an instrument for what we call the pillar of consecration, which in our medicine wheel is part of the southern habitation, the south. We use it in ceremony to bring groups of people, families, and communities together in a form of prayer and sacrifice, unifying each other together. We together offer the pipe. The officiator may be holding the pipe, but they are speaking for the community and offers the pipe to Kehlehmeht, our Sky Father, our Creator Father, and expresses a prayer to that person, to the Heavenly Father. And those in attendance are familiar with the pattern and make that expression themselves in their own way, generally through their own medicine pipe or through a bowl.
We made this as well. Let's see if we can get close enough. This is what I call the turtle bowl. And this is mentioned more with Situgoha. All the ordinances they're always burning using
incense,
the incense bowl. Yeah. And also
lots and lots of smoke.
They were smoke eaters. But Morhanai also mentions at the end of his discussion of the pipe itself, he mentions that this is the method used by all women. They'll place the herb in there, in his time anyway. Yeah. And then below the smoke from the censer. And that produces a lot of smoke. And it's just something that we do also.
Yeah, and in offering the pipe to the Sky Father, we give our oblation and we make our remembrance of the sanctity of physicality, of the very laws of physics, the very materials in our hands during this ceremony. And then when that is finished, we then offer the pipe to Kehlehmeht, our Creator Mother, our Earth Mother. And by the same token, there is great intelligence in the very making of the pipe, the intelligence in how it's made, what you put in it, to smoke it?
Well,
Are
yeah,
you putting dangerous stuff or healing stuff in there?
Well, and to go back to how it's made, it can take a year.
Easily.
It's taken us a long time to make the pipes, and in the old days it really did. The first pipe I made was from bird's eye marble, and I carved it with a nail. Took me over a year to make the bowl alone. So there's a lot. These are made from clay that comes from the Linlet Orthodox sacred site,
Right?
Which is really important to us here. But no matter what they're made from, the thought, the intelligence. Well, I don't know if it's that intelligent, but at least the thought.
There's a great deal of intelligence that goes into it.
Planning and design, and then carrying out. And I can't tell you the number of times I've broken or ruined a pipe and have to start all over again.
It's so sad.
Yeah, so that in itself is, as you say, an honoring of Pa Elohe, our Heavenly Mother, in the fact that she has given us this great gift to be able to do this.
And then, of course, with our prayers given to Si Elohe and Pa Elohe, the Pehli will then offer the pipe in the 4 sacred directions, addressing the 4 pillars of the Tuhul Num Sipi, which is our high place. And in those prayers, we specifically remember and remind each other and ourselves of the principles and the covenants we've made in each of those 4 directions.
Right.
And finally, and those covenants are complex. That understanding is complex, which is why we go through our ceremonies as often as we can, especially in a communal setting. Yeah. And then finally, at the end, the Pehli will offer the pipe, and not just point the mouth of it, but offer the pipe and describe a circle, expressing all present as part of one community, one family, all my relations. It is good for us to be here.
It's good for us to be here.
And in that expression, we ourselves, all of us who are present, consecrate through that symbol that is the pipe being used in that ceremony. We're consecrating ourselves, our intention, our knowledge, our experience, and our faith to the work of that community, to the work of that setting, whether it's council or celebration or class. It doesn't really matter. To the work that it needs to be done by this community right there, we have consecrated with one another, and through our expressions and our ceremony, with the pipe as our instrument, we are consecrating all the good that we can do to the work of the creators.
So we hope that this brief explanation is helpful. We sometimes have a hard time describing to our members why it's so important that to us that all of you either have a pipe in your bundle or a smudge bowl in your bundle. That's why it's been added. It's being added to the sacred articles that we're making for bundle carriers. It's not just because it's an Indian-y thing to do.
No, and
it's not about that at all, in fact.
We get questions about that all the time. It's like, this is the Kehlehmeht, this is the Catalanite, this is, all the pipe ceremonies are the same. And that is dishonorable to all the different Native American cultures that have a sacred pipe ceremony.
They have theirs.
They have theirs. Their cultures are their own and distinct, rich, unique cultures all their own, with their own stories about the sacred pipe. Ours comes from our records, from our teachings, and it represents our principles. It's not borrowing or trying to appropriate from anybody else's. Because we get asked about that frequently, it becomes necessary to kind of put that out there. It's like, we're not taking from anybody else.
Yeah, we're not. And we're also doing something else with our Kehlehmeht. It's not a Kehlehmeht,
right?
That's the Eastern Seaboard terminology, but the extant word is still Kehlehmeht up in the Rocky Mountains. But one of the things that we're doing, having discovered this source of clay that was used by our ancestors right here, and is actually mentioned in our sacred records, we want our members to commemorate or to bring those things back into their ceremonial use. And so that's why we're making the pipes out of that sacred clay today, from that very sacred spot. So, it takes a lot. It's It's an honor to be able to be making the pipes and presenting this so that our members and our ministers can restore this in their lives.
So thank you guys for stopping by, and we hope this was instructive, informative, and always remember, as we Nemenhah like to say, it is good for us to be here.
It is good for us to be here.